Welcome back. Another down and back with CornDoug. This week, full show. A lot of stuff to talk about here off the top. You're going to hear me talking a lot. Got some good stuff. Got some not so good stuff to talk about. Got great guests on the show. You probably see me teasing it all week. You know, something strange is happening. Stranger Things. We have the strangers on the show, Thom and Justin Stranger. Justin, off his big, he won his bracket at the Mid-Atlantic Open down there, and then unfortunately ran into Tony Smith, who then Tony Smith then unfortunately ran into that other hot kid, Alex Hicks, who just kind of ran the table from there. And just as everyone's seen all the videos from that, just an incredible performance from Alex. So start off on a couple things I want to touch on that maybe some stuff that's happened up here. First off, I've been starting to see it a lot up here. Is just now that we got a lot more tournaments coming up, is that if you're going to sign up for a tournament or anything, show up. Don't just let someone know like a couple minutes before the tournament's going to start. If you're going to sign up for something, commit to it, actually show up to the tournament. So that's my one big pet peeve. I guess we didn't cover it a couple weeks ago on the cornhole etiquette, but just my one big thing is if someone's going to take the time to set up a tournament or whatever, or just anything like that there, or any league night, and you say you're going to be showing up, show up. It's nothing that's not out of the that's not hard to not do. If you're going to know beforehand, something comes up, yes. But if you're going to know like ahead of time, just, give someone a heads up. That's all. Other thing that I have that I've had an issue with here that's come up with the last week. I wish I did have some Kool-Aid here someplace, because I know you all talk about, I know there's been some people out there say that I drink the ACL Kool-Aid. I talk too nice about them all the time, but I do have issues with them. And one has popped up this past week. I've kind of mentioned on the show here coming up with the ACL pros from the international pros. So my thing with that is they had the thing we had to do your 2 deck rounds of 90 and then beat the Ghost 9 a couple times, which is, you know what, that's fine. It's if that's what the threshold is to become the pro, hey, let's give her. And we've had 4 names have come up. I'm not going to talk about them all specifically. I'm going to wait because there's another virtual tournament that's going on now, which is another story. And then there's also the in-person pro qualifier at the ACL Canada Central Conference that's happening here this weekend. So the first off, where they had the month to do your stuff. And I feel that if you're going to do something like that, let's put a cap at the amount of times you can attempt that. Because we had a couple guys who did it firsthand, right off the bat. First night, they went and they had their 290s done, beat Ghost 9 first night. Hey, you're in. But where I start to kind of wonder just about being legitimate with this here, and folks, it's not just me. I've had plenty of people message me, come up and talk to me saying, what's the deal with this here? Because it's, if you're able to do the try it like the 50, 60, 100, 200 times to try and get this, do you really deserve it with that? And then there was that, and then you had to go and get the with the kind of so-called application process. You could go from kind of director to director to director to finally get what you want with someone to endorse you. And I think that kind of tells the tale with it as well too. So I think the ACL kind of dropped the ball on that one. Just my take, and like I said, there's been a couple other people that have said that as well too. And it's just, I don't know, I don't want to say it diminishes being a pro designate, here, but I think for me, I just think it does, and I think it could have had a better job with that. Giving, you have a certain amount, you have 5 chances to do it, you have even 10 chances, but just the month long to try and keep doing it over and over and over again till you finally get it done. I think if you're going to be a pro, you got to do it right off the bat. No 4, 5, 6 hours a day working on it. Just my take. Then you're actually getting the people who are actually playing in the advanced all the time, going for it. And people can say, for me, it's just sour grapes or whatever, but you've heard it all on the show here. I'm not a pro. I'm nowhere near being a pro. I just talk about it, and it's my opinion. And hey, that's kind of how it goes. But like I said, a couple guys did it right firsthand, and I talked to them about it this week. And it's we got to spotlight those people who really went after it and were just can do it with ease, because they're the ones who are going to be the top players all the time. That's my take on that first part of it. They have the ACL virtual tournament that's going on right now. And again, with that, and you know what? I know a lot of the people that are in it. A lot of the Canadians are all kind of local players here, or I know them here, and I'm seeing scores there, and I'm seeing scores in like the 60s and the 70s, and heck, I've even seen 20s from some of the people that are going for it, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not sure that the international community is ready for people to be pros yet. I think we're still a couple years away from it. Just again, my take. I think we should have been, the focus should have been on those lower players. Those, not the big focus on the pros. Focus on those Joes down there that are just building this game, because we're still grassroots up here. I don't think, and even and we're still farther ahead than some of the places in Europe. So, I think I've seen maybe one person hit the 100 in that there, and I've seen a lot of 60s, a lot of 70s. If the threshold was a 90 deck round to get in, you should be having 90s and up in this virtual tournament here. So, again, my take on it, I'm really liking what's going to happen this weekend here. Head-to-head matchups, you're going to get the best. And, again, my take on it, if it's upset some people, sorry. I'm gonna express my opinion, because I don't think that's a pro status in throwing those. So that's just me. So let's just put all that negative stuff behind, and let's focus on some good stuff. And that would be, finally, you've seen it on the Facebook page. Yes, it's just competitive, because I'm not a pro. I keep telling that I'm not a pro. I want to thank Dave Hubbard for throwing miraculously. We picked up 3rd place in the competitive doubles in Peterborough. Fantastic day. I always love the people of Peterborough. Gibby, I'm not saying F you, Gibby, because Gibby is the man. No matter what all of you guys in Peterborough say, I'm not saying that. Steve Gibson is the man. I've heard that that's a term of luck. I don't know. But anyway, so great day. Lots of stuff, money raised for charity. Adam, all their tournaments are always raffles, and it's just all just a positive energy and just a great party atmosphere with all those guys. Ripper, as I said on the Facebook page, I'm going to get to you. We're going to, one of these times, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. Because I know you're just excited about the game. But that, and so winners from that there, they had an advanced, competitive, and a social division for the bring your own partner. Advanced division, Paul Aiken, more on him in a few minutes. Paul Aiken, Sam Curtis, first in the advanced. Second went to Steve Pohl, Justin Clark. Third went to Brandon Brown and his wife Tracy. Tracy stepping up in the advanced division and getting stuff done with husband Brandon Brown. That for their third place. Competitive division, Emma and Megan St. Thomas. Going to talk a bit more about them in a minute because you may have seen me talk about them on the Facebook page. Wow. Second place went to Aline Ladisseur and Steve James out of the Lanark County, Lanark Cornhole, Perth County. There's a couple of Perth counties in Ontario. That's what confuses me. They are in the Ottawa area. They threw great. I didn't get a chance to play against them. I don't know if that's good. Thankfully, I don't know. But they did get to play. I did get to play against, see them play, and I know that they big octane throwers. That's all I'm gonna say. They got a little boost, but hey, that and then third place, myself, Dave Hubbard. We almost made that final game. If we would have scored another 19 points, we may have beat the St. Thomas sisters. But again, more on them in a minute. Social division, Justin Spotifor, Doug Spotifor taking first. Mario M and Steve C taking second. Rob Thomas, not the singer, Rob Thomas and Tim S taking third. Blind draw. We did then have like a 40-person blind draw, 20 teams. That Paul Aiken, Lottie B taking the win in that there. Paul Aiken threw lights out all day, and I've got to say, with the way he was throwing, I'll talk about that in a minute. No, he was just throwing great. Brandon Brown, Kevin Ulrich, also out of the Perth County area by Ottawa. Another great thrower. He just started playing, and he's already throwing some lights out. Dave Hubbard picked up another third with Brian. Don't call him St. John. Brian St. Thomas. So great day and all there, and it was just like I said, it was just fun. A lot of great people. Mike Ocher, Broccoli. I'm going to say hi to Mike Broccoli because we talked about that on the show, but when we were there. But some great people. So talking about Paul. First we'll go to the St. Thomas sisters. You've heard me talk about them on the show here before about how they've been getting some podium, if you'll say, finishes in Peterborough. First time I've got a chance to watch them play in person, and like I said on that Facebook post, look out ACL women's division in Canada and even the advanced division in Canada, because I'm going to say it's going to not be long before they're on top on both of them. They both aggressive throwers. They go for that airmail. Almost every shot is in. Like I said, they whipped Dave and I 21-2. It was almost like a surgeon the way that they just picked us apart. So watch out for those two sisters. The father's not a bad thrower either, too. Brian St. Thomas. But, well, it's the kids. The kids are going to be taking charge there. And watch out for those two names, Megan and Emma St. Thomas. It's big things are going to be coming out of Peterborough with them, I promise you, with that. And then talking Paul Aiken. So we've got the ACL Pro Qualifier coming up in St. Catharines. Paul Aiken is going to be in on that. And I'm thinking the way that he was throwing on last weekend, I seen him. He was doing some practicing before Peterborough here this week. And he's on. And I think he's going to be one to a dark horse to watch out for in that Pro Qualifier. There's going to be him. There's going to be Jamie Cowan. Phil Tavares is kind of been creeping up there, getting some better performances in tournaments. So I look for Phil. Don't count out Steve Pohl either. Steve's another great singles player. So there's a couple guys to look out to watch for there. I expect Dean Lang's going to probably be winning that thing. I'm not sure if Brandon Brown's going to be going in it. But there's just some great throwers coming up into that there. And it's going to be a full weekend of cornhole leading into that there. So guys are going to have a chance to kind of hone their skills going up through the different tournaments. It looks like we're a go for all divisions. Finally getting some people in there, and we're almost full. So I think the deadline was yesterday. So I haven't had a chance to talk to Matt, but we are going to be in, and so watch for some live stuff. Not sure on YouTube, on Facebook, but we're going to be doing stuff from there. And yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. So we'll be talking about it next week. And as always, well, not as always, it's new. As I said here last week, you don't have to be an MVP on the boards because you can drink MVP off the boards. MVP Brewing Company will be there with their premium lager. I know on the top they've got the Game Changer. I don't need to worry about that. But yeah, the other big thing is that it, I don't know if you can see there, proudly donates 5% of all sales towards local sports organizations for youth. So it's a good reason to drink. It's a good reason to drink. Yeah, so is that there? They're going to be all over the Central Conference tournament in St. Catharines. Also going to be starting to sponsor the KW local league here, which is great. And talking about sponsors, Octane Cornhole, octanecornhole.com. All of your bags you need. Discount code CornDoug gets you 10% off of there. Then when you're done with that, head over to myearfund.com. Get yourself a cool little thing like this here. Earbuds and Bluetooth speakers. I can say it there now. Discount code CornDoug gets you 20% off of those. Then head over to jccornhole.com. I know he's cut off orders for Christmas, so you won't be able to get boards for Christmas. But you can get them for after Christmas. He's going to start on that because he's had a couple huge orders. Gulf North. So if you have any Gulf North properties in Ontario, they've just did I think they wanted 75 sets. So he's been kind of just all out working on those. Some big orders there. So you're going to be able to see JC Cornhole boards all over Ontario at golf courses. I know they're getting some bags as well too. So it's going to be some great things there. Check him out. As I said, jccornhole.com or JC Cornhole on Facebook. Then if you're in the Edmonton area, if you're watching Alberta, Edmonton area, check out Sierra Property Inspections. Darren will not do you wrong checking out the house that you're looking to purchase, or if you just want to kind of get some things checked out with your house that you have now. And if you go over to his Facebook page, I believe I just seen it put out the other day, 25% off for the rest of December. I think that's it. Check the Facebook page. Darren will probably message me and say, hey, you messed up. But hey, that's just kind of what I do. Yeah, so check him out. And remember, some of the proceeds, portion of the proceeds from that he makes goes back to a cancer hospice in the Edmonton area, which is, for youth. Really, you can't, if someone's doing that and they're doing quality service, like you see all his reviews, everything is all quality service. So just check him out. He's doing great things with the business and even beyond. So check Darren out at Sierra Property Inspections. He will not steer you wrong at all. SierraHome.com. As you can see right down there. We got it right there. And then right even behind it, right there, csccornhole.com. Get all of your bags that instead of paying the extra shipping from the States, your Fire, your local, your all Cornhole, your Reynolds bags. Get them all at csccornhole.com at Canadian prices, shipped from Canada with no extra shipping costs. And they're there you will have them within a few days. You won't have to wait for the border to bring them to you. So that they're also Cornhole Supplies Canada will have a booth at the Central Conference tournament this weekend. So enough of me talking here now. Let's go over to talk with the Strangers. Justin, after that big performance down at the Mid-Atlantic Open, winning his bracket, which I think for him a great way to start off. We talk about what he's done, what he's looking forward to this year with the new partner that he is throwing with, and even new bags. So here is my talk with the Strangers. I talk to strangers. And here, I'd like to welcome the Stranger, because it's now a Stranger Things show. Justin and Thom Stranger. Guys, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having us on.
Well, I thought we kind of talked about this last week, and then Justin, you kind of went and you were like, "I'm gonna just really help your show out and just blow everyone away this weekend down in Virginia Beach."
Expected by me either, so I mean, I guess it happens.
Well, and that's that thing where you get in those big tournaments like that there, and you get on that roll, and you just start going.
Yeah, it didn't feel that way. I was so nervous the whole time, and I somehow just kept getting through it.
Although I don't know, I guess you didn't have to run into that other one that Tony Smith and Matt Guy had to run into with Alex Hicks the way he threw this weekend.
Yeah, he was one of the few that I really didn't want to play. I love Alex, and he's insane.
That's why you let Tony win. He wanted Tony to go embarrass himself.
I kind of had that too. I kind of had that same thing this weekend because there's a couple of younger sisters up here in Peterborough that I was at a tournament with, and I was like, I don't want to meet them in the doubles. I don't want to meet them in the doubles. They did. I did have to play them. Lost 21-2. It wasn't fun, and it's all you young people that are just making it hard for us old people that I find.
Well, Alex is just really ridiculous. I don't understand how he's that good. We've seen it in action. He's a good kid. He just does it. Yeah. I mean, 47 rounds with Matt Guy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I know for myself, I wouldn't last 2, but yeah, that's just the way I play. But so we'll kind of rewind a bit here, just for you guys getting your start in cornhole, because it's kind of almost seems like a family affair for you guys.
Yeah, we started, this is probably like 4 years ago.
Yeah, about.
One of the friends I worked with, I used to play at his tailgates and such. And one day he said, "Hey, look, we play out near you. It's $5. There was a handicap system. One of the guys was a caterer. So he'd make shrimp or sausage or burgers. You throw $5 in the pot. You bring your own beer. And 2 nights a week, I got to go hang out with guys and drink beer as long as I brought one of my kids. If I took both kids, we would have left both kids at home. It would never have happened. And then 6 months in, he started killing me and everybody else we started playing with.
Well, and that's the thing. It seems like it's almost the way everyone starts off is you go to you get invited to a blind draw or a backyard thing, and it just within 2 minutes you become addicted.
Yeah, it's funny with him because he played baseball and other sports, and he never got as addicted. Like he liked and played them, but man, when he started with cornhole, it went crazy. A few months in, like he couldn't beat me, and then a few months in, we're starting to play, and then it's close, and then it's not close the wrong way for me anyway.
Well, and that's the way. Like, luckily, my son hasn't started beating me yet, so I'm okay with that for right now. But so. Then, Tom, I want to talk to you a little bit because I've talked to Mike Morton about this. I know how I feel watching my son is me playing hockey. I was a goalie. My son's now a goalie. So I'm watching him out there, and I'm almost like every shot, every play is, I almost feel like I'm there. For you, how do you, what kind of stuff do you go through watching Justin out there if he's struggling or if he's, if he's playing great? What's that like for you inside?
It's stressful, especially being a player, and well, until recently I was playing. I'm on the DL for the minute, and I know how to play the game. I know the game well. I just don't execute the way he does. A lot of the tournaments like this weekend, I didn't watch a whole lot of his games, and I don't watch them close because I got to let him be him. I mean, because a couple times we played, he's like, "Don't make that face when I throw. Don't judge my shot." I do things I don't even realize I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I just think I'm watching, but I'm giving off some kind of signals. So I knew he was struggling in doubles. He had a game he wasn't happy with. I went and watched his next game, even though they won. I could see he didn't look comfortable. Like I know his throw probably better than anyone. I watch his throw a lot. I said, "You don't look comfortable. You look like you're throwing low and this and that." And his partner was like, "Hey, that's what I thought. I thought he was comfortable." So I gave him that feedback and he could change. I think he was in the mode of it's okay listening. He knew he needed to change something. There's times where I can't talk to him at all. I'll make a comment and then I just got to let him sit. But last night I tried to cheer him on. I know he's got some earbuds in. I just shoot him a look. I just give him this look that, like, I know you got this, kid. Like, don't give up, because I mean that his battles with Kyle Malone last night were pretty tough. I think they were both tired. He lost that first game. It was close. It was not close. It was close again. He loses, and I just give him a look and nod at him. I'm like, look, you got this. You don't quit. Don't give up. And that's kind of what he does. So we've been around. It used to be worse. We used to fight. We figured out how to learn and play together. And, I know when and when not to speak up, because, like I said, I know how to play the game. I can help him fix his throw. I can help other people fix their throw, even though I can't do it the way they do.
Yeah, and that's always a hard thing for me, is that my son knows now that he doesn't even look at me. I try to give him any kind of pointers, but it's just, I don't even want to look at you. But it's just that feeling you get inside of, like, if something, if a missed shot or whatever, it's like, you feel that pain.
Yeah, I gave him a couple the other day where I know he went for an air mail, and I looked at him and he went, because he knows sometimes. Look, he's aggressive. The young kids they're aggressive, and they're going to take a shot, and they're going to try to win that game. And they're going to try to get every bag that they can. And look, in that one round, it cost him 6, where it could have been a little bit less if he slid it. But again, that's his game. If I try to tell him to change his game and be conservative all the time, it's not going to work. One of the guys watched the stream last night, and he goes, "Yeah, I was proud of Justin. He threw a blocker. Instead of trying to win or get 3 points, he threw a blocker and made the other guy mess up." And he says, "That's not the old Justin." So he has his times where I think he plays smart, and the other times he's aggressive, but that's his style.
That's because I was nervous.
Well,
I don't know when the nerves came. The nerves has probably been in the past year or two, because when they were younger and he was like that Alex Hicks age, man, they don't care about nothing.
No, I just say that they're just young and dumb. They don't know any better. That's just I say. That's just what I say. But so Justin, you say nerves, and I think that, so how do you cope with those nerves at the boards? Because we have a lot of newer players up here that, and they've asked me, like, what do I do, before a big game, or I'm nervous. I'm like, you just got to throw the bag.
I don't really, honestly. It's really hard. That's been probably my biggest reason for a lot of my losses recently, is I get like super nervous, and then my arm starts to shake, and then the bag wobbles, and I go all over the place. Cody Henderson gave me some advice one time, because I was terrible against him. I was nervous, and he was like, the more and more that you're on that stage, the less and less will happen. As you get comfortable and you know that you're as good as you are, stop feeling the nerves as much. And I just took deep breaths in between it. I kept telling myself in my head, like hyping myself up, that you're good, you've got this, you can do it. And it worked to an extent. I was definitely still nervous. The bag was not pretty, but they were going down the middle.
Well, and I think you talk about taking that breath. I think that's what a lot of things that people don't realize with the game is that you have those 20 seconds to throw, right? And they want to say, "Oh, I got to go," but they're not stopping to think of just how long the 20 seconds is, right? And that's one thing that I see people rushing throws too much, and they're making the wrong throw.
Well, it also depends on the mood, because sometimes when I'm really nervous, or I just try and throw as fast as possible. As soon as that person's bag like hits the board, is in the hole, I'm going to try to avoid overthinking the shot. If I take too much of a breath and then I overthink the shot, then I'm just going to guarantee to miss. There's like that right amount of time in between where I'm going to make the shot every time.
Now, I see you on live feeds all the time with different people going through. You got Tornatola sometimes who'll be talking your background. I know that my big struggle is on a live feed, because I just absolutely forget how to play. But do you is that a little more extra pressure for you, knowing people are watching the live feeds who might be kind of critiquing? Because I know there was an issue last year where someone was talking about the step over, because that was the big thing by the last year. But do you have any more of that feel with that?
Not really. Usually it drives me to win. Like, I had some of my local players cheering for another local player who's actually like more so from their area, and I just kind of give them that look, and I was like, "Come on now, man." But when people cheer against me, I usually tend to do better and let it fuel me. I don't feel like the live streams are as much pressure anymore. The only times that it gets really crazy is probably ESPN, because I feel like live streams 40, 50 people, not hundreds of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Well, exactly. And like I know, Tom, you kind of there was the step over play I think last year where after that step over, I think Justin lost his balance to the side, but he got back in time, which I thought there was no big deal. And I know that it's that whole big, I don't want to say protecting Justin, but it's just that I don't want to say the whole pressure of everything, but just when you see that out there.
Well, yeah, that whole situation was funny because I've talked to the guy who made the post, and I do not like to step over. I'm going to tell you now. There's certain people that drive me crazy. If your foot goes over a little bit or whatever, there's someone that was really against that step over. And the situation that happened was he was playing Chris Tornatola, Storm Hogue, right? With
Was it?
I think, and you were playing with Jamie Hudson. Justin and them were down. So he he was doing something silly. He's joking with Storm. So he hauled back and just threw with everything and landed in front of the board. So somebody picked a picture and said, "Oh, this is a perfect picture of someone stepping over." He didn't name Justin.
Yeah.
Justin didn't have his name on the jersey, but everybody knew who it was. And it got turned into this whole thing. And people were like, I would have punched him in the face. And, they were, just making fun of him personally, which, as a dad, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
He'll be 18 the end of this month. To me, he'll still be a kid. He's always going to be, a kid. I understand that, you're not going to like every player out there. I don't like every player out there. Mm-hmm. But to personally attack someone for your looks, your style, you wear a glove, you don't like his hair, or whatever the things are, that's the tough part. If you just don't like his play and him as a player, it's fine. But social media, we're just so negative.
Yeah.
I've got myself caught up in a couple, and that's why I just was like compassionate as a dad. Said, look, here's the way I feel about this.
Yeah.
You might not like my son, but and I know this was not directed at him personally for the step over, and I don't like to step over. But before you make a judgment, why don't you come talk to him at an event? Because he's not going to come talk to you just because he's surprisingly shy, even though you'll see some of his reactions where he's excited on TV. Or throw a game with him, and I think your opinion will change because I learned that myself. There's a few players I made personal judgments about that I've gotten to know personally, and you understand where they came from, who they are. Look, I was not a big fan of Cody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people don't. The way he's treated Justin off the court, given him advice and talked to him and talked to me, even though I screamed when Justin beat him one day and was running around like a maniac, like Cody and I was like, wow, I really like the guy. So, and at Cornhole, you can do that. NFL, I can't go meet Tom Brady, who I hate for some reason, and talk to him. But at an event, you can go. Matt Guy will talk to you. Justin, all these people are there, and they're accessible, So if you get to meet them, I think you get a different perspective. But it is hard because you have your favorite players, and he was playing Tony last night on a Woo-hole broadcast, and I'm just waiting for everybody to blast him,
Well, exactly. And then you bring up the glove, and I was one who I was always like, oh, is the glove needed? And I have to say, this summer, Steve Pohl, who still will not come on the show for some reason, but whatever, we'll let that one go, Steve. But he had an extra glove with him, and we're playing outside, and it was a humid day, and I'll tell you, I was trying to throw the bag. And I threw an apex, which is almost like a slide, right? So it's got the real sticky side, and that bag wasn't leaving my hand because it was so humid. My hand was like it was like a bucket of water, right? I put that glove on. I was throwing the bag a whole lot better. So you know what? I gotta say that the glove will help you out tremendously.
Yeah, funny thing is he doesn't wear it anymore.
No, it's nothing against them.
No.
I feel like when I get nervous, my hand I said it really badly shakes. And I felt like I was somehow getting the bag caught on it every now and again. It does work though. I mean, in the humidity or anything, if your hand's sticky, it does help with that release. It was just my personal nerves messing with it.
Yeah, we had people ask us because he used to wear when you had the old slide right days. the suede would rub one of his fingers raw, which is why he started wearing it and using it. And then, Ryan Smith wears it because, he goes through a couple gloves a day, I think, because his hands are sweating so bad no matter what he did. Mm-hmm. This one guy wrote to me on the side, he goes, look, I'm a mason and my hands are dry and cracked. My hands stick and the little fibers stick to all the calluses on my hand. So, look, I know people think it's gimmicky. Look, to each his own. I don't really care. There's other things that people wear and do. Is it needed? Yeah. I don't know. It's up to them. But Gladiator's a good company. They've been good to us. They're still friends of ours. It's just with the change and bags and everything else and sponsors, we just kind of have, he's moved away and doing fine without it.
Well, I was going to say, you did make the bag change this year, so you are now throwing the what bags?
Ultra. I'm mostly right now throwing Vipers with a side of Psychos.
We're trying to talk to Ultra about coming up here with our Cornhole Supplies Canada to try and get Ultra bags up here. But was there much of an issue with changing the bag company?
Not really. I've always been, or at least consider myself, pretty versatile with bags. And I'd been throwing carpet for years. My only issue was tiring out. And then when I got nervous and my bag wasn't flat, the carpet would kick left and right. And also nobody from our area really threw Reynolds. So when I played doubles and people couldn't throw carpet bags, I was throwing game changers with Modlin. I was throwing all slides with people like Rocky and everybody else down there. So I was used to fast bags. I always liked Vipers, so it really wasn't much of an adjustment.
I think that's the one thing I've tried to tell people up here is to get used to every bag, because everyone's like, I have to throw this bag because Matt guy throws these fire bags, so I have to throw them, or I have to throw these bags because this person throws them. My thing is that, especially if you're going to a blind draw, you've got to get used to everything and not just be stuck on one bag.
Yeah, you can have your favorite. You just can't be tied down to it to the point where you can't throw anything else.
Yeah, I think you've had other people that will tell you about him that makes him, he might not be a better player on a given day versus some players, but his ability to throw any bag, it's crazy. We have probably 200 sets of bags or more in our house. And during COVID, we were doing this challenge where people would pick the bags that him and I would have to throw against each other, and they'd try to screw him with the bag. He'd still beat me with them. Almost any bag. You could try to pick the worst bag we'd have, he'd still win.
I know for me, I've tried to like all the bags, but all the bags just don't like me sometimes. I think that's what I'm going to go with, why I can't play good with some bags.
I'm with you. Bags. I was not a Viper fan. I'm learning to throw them with him. I learned with slide rights and suede. I throw low and hard. New bags aren't meant to throw low and hard. You have to throw a higher loft, which is just not where I was. I can adjust, but all the people who throw fast bags are like, oh, just throw it higher. I'm like, okay, we'll just throw this one lower. But people don't like, you have a slide rate tournament. I think both of us will still show up.
Yeah. So you mentioned COVID with all this stuff and doing kind of like what people would tell you. You kind of got right in the virtual game. You took out our boy Scott Sullivan up here in that first virtual tournament. But were you a big virtual guy during COVID?
I was for about 3 months. I started off rough. I was throwing Pro Advantages at the time, which we know are not slide bags. They're not the most hole friendly. I probably started averaging 90s, and then I had this 2 or 3 month span where I was doing really well. I was hundreds consistently, top of a 113. And then I think I just got burnt out of it. It was boring just sliding and walking back and forth. And I dropped to the 70s or 80s because I was playing stupid. I didn't care. My Reynolds were clogging the 4 bags in the hole, and I was getting 4s instead of 12s. I was getting in my head. So no, I hate it. But now with Fast Vipers, I might be all right.
And you like the airmail when that came out?
I do. The airmail one with the pros was fun.
Well, yeah, and I just felt with the virtual game I needed to have that other person on the board, because I'm not a fan of a clean board. I like as I've talked with Pitcher, he's like, you're either playing chess or you're playing checkers. I like that chess game where you've got that dirty board and you got to move bags around. In that virtual game, or playing Ghost, I couldn't get into it.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. You got to have concentration.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's, yeah. we were I mean, we were. I was fortunate, and I mean, he sort of was that. We had someone to compete with every day. Mm-hmm. Although we did virtual, we'd set out and we'd take turns, but we could throw against each other every day, making block boards. I mean, I think the game changed because everybody was learning to throw virtual. So many people know just straight down the middle, straight down the middle, straight down the middle. And sometimes it's tough to beat when you got that repetition when you don't play that way. I mean, our first couple tournaments, I think we did well because we were out there throwing ugly boards again where everybody was straight down the middle. But yeah, it takes a lot of concentration to do. I think it was fun. It gave you something to do. It's like, oh, wait a minute, here's something different. We're in COVID, we got nothing to do, so you could do it. But then I think we just got tired of it.
And I've for seeing people up here do it, it made a lot of lower end players think that they were a lot better than they were because they were throwing on that open board, and and then we got back to playing, and it's like I can't just do that perfect slide in because that first bag blocker. And I was like, well, that's what the game really is.
Yeah.
So now to also say, coming out of COVID into this new season, you've now changed up partners again, and you've got a guy that for your pro partner who, which I believe, you're with Washington, right?
Yeah.
As a pro partner, yeah. A guy who I first got to see down in Cherokee in 2018. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I want to have a chance to talk to him, but he just looks like the super fun guy who I think is a great player.
Yeah, he is. He's really good, and he's really funny. He keeps me a lot more calm than I was with Tony. Tony has a lot of hype around him, and it put a lot of pressure on me as I was always blamed for the losses by everybody else, no matter what actually happened. So between that pressure and then I got nervous because of it, and then throwing the carpet, it was just not a good environment for me to throw in. James is a lot easier to play with.
Well, when I've seen around the boards, it's just he's got that. I don't want to say I don't care attitude, but he kind of almost does that. Which almost makes him better. But just it's like you said, it's just he takes a lot of pressure off his opponent from what I've seen.
Yeah, we looked around a lot, and James was kind of hanging there because I've always said, and one of these other podcasts has said it. One of our friends down here was like, Justin throws better with older partners. He throws. I mean, him and Frank have beaten some really good teams together. He's thrown with Rocky. He'll throw with Kitchen, and a lot of these people were taken, and we consider Jeff Reynolds. That one just didn't work out. I think the bags and the distance was not going to work. But James was sitting there, and he's older. I think he likes that Justin's a risk taker. I think he'll tell Justin when he's done something stupid, but he also might make him laugh. Tony we love Tony. He's just a quiet, and they succeeded because they were just two good players. Where if James gets him fired up and they're laughing and they're playing and they're having fun, it might work. Like I said, I like an older partner for him, and I'm, It's a little rough goings here and there this weekend, but I can't wait to see when they start to groove together, because I don't think people realize James Washington was 16th in the world last year in singles, and no one talks about him.
No, it's like a quiet 16
because he's not flashy. He doesn't do a lot. He played with Mike Harvey, who was flashy, and is a big, excitable. James just goes out there in his oversized T-shirt and shorts and throws the bag in the hole. That's what he does.
Well, exactly, yeah, and you know what, and that's the thing with me is I've talked about this on other shows as well too. Is when I look at the doubles, and I've even looked at the people playing up here. Is I've had the same partner now for our 5 years that we've played, had ACL up here, and I just feel that getting the two great players together, you may not get that mesh. You almost want to have people that have known each other, and you have that it's that inner confidence in knowing what the other guy's going to do, and he knows what you can do. And I feel like that kind of meshes better with a doubles team.
Yeah, I mean, they were figuring it out this weekend. Yeah. Him and Tony just never quite did. They were just good, and it was quiet. I thought I loved the thought of them going in together because I thought, they're two kids, they're going to have fun, but they didn't play as two kids having fun.
Yeah,
and good for Tony. Like, he travels the world. Justin's still in high school.
Yeah,
Noah might be the right person for him. I know people have gotten on Noah for yelling at Tony, but Tony needs someone, I think, to sometimes yell at him and get a little fire, where Justin doesn't do that. He's not, wasn't his style. So they just weren't, neither of them was giving the other one what they needed.
Well, and you know what? And even to that extent, I've told people up here, you need to be Goldilocks when you're looking for bags. Don't just pick one. It's the same with partners. It's you're gonna find that right mesh. And I think for Justin, I think James was like the perfect match for him. So
everybody thinks it looks like an odd pairing, but you know, we talked to like I said, some of the people at the other podcast. I mentioned it to Mike Morton, and you know, Mike and I talk or chat a lot about things that are going on. And I think he's very smart and a very good student of the game. And he honestly said, I really like that. When he said that too, I was like, okay, it gives us some outside confirmation that, you know, we can. I mean, he's a little far away, which makes it hard to play together. I mean, he's 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah.
You know, and he works a lot, but Justin also just loves being able to play with a bunch of different people.
Yep. Yeah. So with us now getting our pros up here, I gotta ask Justin, is there any pointers or tips that you can kind of help out our new pros that are just kind of starting out?
I don't really know. I mean, as long as they can keep the nerves away, they'll be fine. I mean, you just can't. I know a lot of pros that are like really good locally, but as soon as they step foot in the pro division or they hit that big stage, they just crumble bad, and you just can't do that. You got to go and play the same way that you would play anybody else.
So and then lastly here, you talked about you wearing the earbuds. I got to know what are you playing in those earbuds when you got them on?
You're probably not going to know what it is.
It's an oddness. I mean, so it used to be just all straight like modern day rap, and it still is a little bit when I need to get hyped up. But if I'm not doing great or I need to calm down, my girlfriend recently got me into a lot of country music. So it's really weird. It's either like country or it's rap. There's no in between. So it's one of those two.
So I guess so for you, like Byrne said, if I can ever get that thing where I can get my phone and have break into your Bluetooth, I'm putting classical music so you can just take you right out.
I couldn't play with that.
I'm compiling a little list. If that can ever happen, I can have that little bit of advantage.
Yeah, well, I think the other part, I mean, the people that do it, they said, because that's the other controversy. You don't like people wearing earbuds, but if you're on that broadcast court, you can hear the commentators saying what you're going to do or not do, and that's distracting. It's not like in the NFL where, you know, Troy Aikman or Tony Romo is up in the box saying, "Oh, they're probably going to do this." You don't hear that. You hear this right there, and you know, calling the shots. I think that's got to be rough.
Well, I know that I get the dagger staring at me if I'm calling games up here on live feeds because you're trying to do the golf talk. But then it just doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I want to thank you guys for coming on and talking here. And I definitely want to have you guys on again once we get into the Nationals coming up here soon. Once they get started, I guess in January is when they're going to go. And hopefully we'll have some of our pros be able to maybe get a shot at maybe getting close to beating you, I guess, down at some of those events.
Yeah, we talked about coming to Canada, gosh, a while back, but I'd like to get up there and just, you know, people are like, what does it take to bring people up here? And sure, a money tournament would, but it's also exposure and fun and bringing the game. But they got to make these borders easier for us.
Well, exactly, yeah. And I've heard word. I can't say that I know for sure, but I've heard that we might be getting an open here announced soon, which I hope that will be a lot of fun. So. Hopefully that's in the works and we can get one up here with ACL Canada.
That'll be fun.
Okay, so again, thank you guys for coming on, and I really hope we can get you back on here sooner. And thankfully you were on here before talking to those guys, those dog guys or whoever they are. It's you know they're.
Well, we haven't been with those. We haven't been with those guys and the Bigfoot chasers.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more with the guys that are like Canadians and just like drinking good beer.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, hopefully, I've heard those guys might be having another good person on their show soon. So hopefully, the ass will keep their word. We'll see.
Oh yeah,
but, yeah. So again, thank you for coming on, and hopefully have you guys back on in the near future.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for having us.
And I want to thank the Strangers for coming back on the show. Great to have Thom and Justin. They're ones I've been wanting to have on the show for a while, and it's just it's just great to see. Like, we forget just how young Justin is because we've been seeing him for a while, and only being 18, getting that his own bracket win at the last Open there really shows just the progression he's made. And I really think that and as he talked, he's starting to get used to the pressure. So I think he's ready to make that step. And I also believe having James Washington as a partner now, I think will really help him in the doubles. It's someone who can, like Thom said, he's that someone who can kind of, crack that joke, make that comment that maybe get him a little looser. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that partnership, that doubles, and you just might see them in the mix come ACL finals time down in Rock Hill in August. Jeez, already thinking August. It's not even December's not even done yet. We're thinking August. So yeah. So again, thanks for them coming on the show, and I also want to give another shout out to 3 great friends of mine. They started as a duo. They're now a trio. Doghouse guys. Doghouse Cornhole Dogcast. Started off, Brendan and Donnie. They brought McCracken on after they seen him on this show. They had to bring him on because he was such a great guest. But yeah, those 3 guys, 100 episodes. Congrats, guys. Finally getting there. And I know you took a little bit of a break, a little hiatus there because you wanted to recharge the batteries. But no, it's great getting to 100 episodes. I know, and you guys talked about it. I've even talked about it on the show here. Doing the stuff here is not easy, folks. It's you're always trying to find guests. You're always trying to get stuff to talk about. It's just it's tough sledding. So congrats again to them. They are 3 absolutely great human beings, and as you would have seen, they're if you're watching us on Friday, their contest that they're having on ends at like 7:00. If you're watching, my 300 subscriber contest will go till 11:59 Friday night, December the 10th. Then the live drawing from probably the biggest and best cornhole event that has ever been in Canada so far. Blows the doors off of everything we've done so far, and you can even, as I said, go there, be an MVP. And yeah, it's gonna be some fun. Central ACL Canada Central Conference event plus ACL Canada Pro Qualifier. Only place to get pro cornhole, ACL Canada. Nowhere else you will get that level of cornhole. So we'll be doing some live feeds from the weekend. Check out either the KW Cornhole Facebook page, my Facebook page, Down and Back Facebook page. Might be on ACL Canada. I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and good luck to anyone who's already in the contest. Remember, it's an easy question. You just have to go to the subscriber video. Which guest has appeared the most on this show? Easy question. Kind of serving it to you up on a tray. But yeah, so with that, I guess we'll see. If you're in St. Catharines, stop by, say hi. You might get on the show. Probably. But yeah, for everyone else, keep towing that gas, because someone throwing those octane bags will kick your ass. And if you were lucky enough to get the new energy bags, because they can't stick around, you just got to rip it and grip it. Grip it and rip it. One of those two.